Success, a program that supports micro, small, and medium enterprises here on the Billionario News Channel. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Studies show that many small business owners do not take bookkeeping seriously, leaving it at the bottom of their priority list. As a result, some businesses may have strong sales potential but struggle to manage the business as a whole, leading to some failures. Why is bookkeeping important? To help us understand this area of business, we have a certified public accountant and business consultant, Tristan Ian Cristobal. Good morning, Tristan. Welcome to Pathways to Success.
Good morning, Mai.
Okay, before we go into the details of bookkeeping, tell us first, what is bookkeeping? Explain this to our viewers, and why is it very important for small business owners?
Yeah. So bookkeeping is actually the recording of transactions. So there are transactions like receipt of cash, payments of expenses. So these transactions should be recorded in the books. At the same time, this will help tracking the business as a whole, the overall performance of the business as a whole. Yeah.
Pero many people, they often mix it up, the definition of bookkeeping, they often think it is also accounting. What is the difference?
Yes, exactly. You are right. There's so many people that they mix up the idea between bookkeeping and accounting. Well, in reality, bookkeeping is part of the process of accounting. So bookkeeping, as I've said, is recording of transactions, while accounting starts from recording of transaction, preparation of financial statement, until interpretation or analysis of the data of the business.
So mas malawak yung accounting?
Mas malawak ang sakop ni accounting.
Okay, so for startups naman and small businesses, like we said, it's very crucial to the business. So let's discuss a simple bookkeeping process. Meron kang tried and tested process, di ba? So please identify the challenges and solutions for each step. Take us through the steps.
Yeah. So usually for my mentees, when I discuss this to our webinars and then in trainings in DTI, I always say to my attendees to focus on 4 books: cash receipts, cash disbursements, general journal, and then the general ledger. These are very important areas in recording the transactions.
Let's go to cash receipts first.
Exactly, yeah. For cash receipts, this is usually recording all types of cash received by the company. It's either from cash sales, collection, from loans received. So everything that the company received will be recorded in the cash receipts. So there are challenges within that process, from billing of the customer up to collection of the cash is actually a daunting task for every businesses. Untimely billing, untimely collection. This will impact the cash of the company. Okay, so those are the challenges for the cash receipts. While for cash disbursement is more on...
That's the next one.
Yeah.
Cash disbursement.
Yes.
Okay.
For cash disbursements, this is more on nasa na yung papers, nasa na yung documents that I paid.
Okay.
So they tend to not recording all business transactions, the incompleteness of the business transactions.
Dapat ba different notebooks to?
Exactly,
cash receipt,
yes.
cash disbursements? Oo, dapat iba-ibang notebooks.
It should be
para
different.
Iba-ibang file din.
Correct.
Alright. So after cash disbursement, ano yung next step?
The general journal. So these were the accounting or the debit credit. Ayan na. Marami nang takot dyan sa debit credit. Okay? So the general journal usually is where the accounting entries are being made. The date is there, the transaction, the reference number, how much should be the transaction for that said business transaction.
When should they do the general journal?
The general journal, it depends on the size of the company. It depends on the volume of the transactions. If let us say it's startup, maybe they can record it on a weekly basis. But if for let us say there's so much transaction, I always say they should record it on a daily basis.
So the last step is the general ledger.
Exactly,
Tell
yes.
us the difference from the general journal.
Yeah, the general ledger actually is the summary of all transactions. So the general ledger, we lift the transactions from the general journal and then we summarize it in the general ledger. For example, how much is the total cash? So general ledger can give us information as to how much is the total cash, how much is the total assets, liabilities, capital of the business.
Very detailed pala talaga,
Exactly.
no? Okay, so this is the way that you keep track of your business. Kailangan ganito yung proseso.
Correct. Yeah, because it's very important. As I mentioned, the bookkeeping is very important because it will answer a lot of questions by the business owners. How much money? How much cash I have? How much is the profit they made? So it will really answer a lot of questions for them.
All right, and we have to take a short break because that's a lot to digest. When we return, we continue our discussion on the process of bookkeeping for a small business and how to analyze the data. Pathways to Success, we'll be right back. Welcome back. We are still learning the details of bookkeeping with business consultant and CPA Tristan Cristobal. Now, Tristan, according to a study by Jesse Hagan, formerly with the U.S. Bank, 82% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years due to poor understanding and management of cash flow. Please explain this to us, and does it also apply to our MSMEs? Is this the same picture here?
I think that's there's a possibility that we have the same picture of that because based on actual experience, most MSMEs are not aware or they don't have the basic understanding of accounting. So basically, they don't know how to record, they cannot understand the importance of bookkeeping in the business. So it is true that indeed there are losses, significant losses on their part because of the unguided information or unguided decision making that they will do for their business.
So hindi ba very technical yung bookkeeping process nila dito? How would you describe how they actually do it here?
Well, the bookkeeping itself or the accounting itself is really a technical matter that at least the business owner should have a basic understanding. They have to focus on their business, on creating money, but they should not neglect or forget accounting is important. So that's why in terms of bookkeeping here in the Philippines, there's so much room and space that we need to improve, that assistance for them so that they will not forget or they will not tend to forget how to, the importance of
and
bookkeeping.
And should they keep the bookkeeping separate from the accounting?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So there should be a bookkeeper and there should be an accountant. But this is for big companies. But for small companies, MSMEs, it's okay to mix up or it's okay that one person is handling that.
Okay, so describe to us yung practices nila dito, their bookkeeping practices at paano ba nila uumpisahan yun? If they're new to this,
Yeah, that's a good question because regardless of the size, as long as the business is started, they should be starting their bookkeeping. At least they should write their cash receipts, how much they received, how much money they made, how much revenue they made, and then the expenses. So at least they have the result of operation that they can assess, and they can help them to have that decision if their business is growing, or are they going to expand, or what else are the steps they need to do in the company.
Okay, so now what happens when a business neglects bookkeeping? And can you share with us some cases that you have encountered as a business consultant?
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, sales is very high, but then net income is very low. That's number one challenge of the consequence of neglecting the bookkeeping, because they don't have any data as reference. So I have clients wherein they're coming to me, Sir Tristan, I have a lot of sales, but my net income is very low. What should I do? Okay, so it's because they don't have that bookkeeping. They don't know how to interpret the financial records into business matters. So that's where we come in. That's where we come in to assist the business owners in terms of the financial records, in terms of interpreting the financial statement of the company, or the financial numbers of the company.
So for a business, everything should be data-driven.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, so now naman, let's go to yung ano yun? So everything should be data-driven. Let's go to data analysis.
Yeah.
Once we are able to input the correct and complete data, how do we analyze the information in bookkeeping?
Yeah. In bookkeeping, as a start of the accounting process, so recording will happen. The accounting part will come in to collect the information and then to create the financial statements. So those financial statements, the financial statements that include balance sheet, income statement, cash flow, that's where the result of operation. Okay? Like for example, balance sheet. How are we going to analyze if the company is healthy? So we will look into balance sheet, the financial health of the company. Next is the result of operation, wherein is the company making profit or not? So that's where the analysis of the business in terms of creating money. And then at the same time, in terms of cash flow, where did my money go? Paano ko siya ginamit? So yun yung mga interpretation and analysis na kailangan ng mga business owners. And bookkeeping is the start of the analysis.
This is also, of course, to prevent the stress with all the data coming in.
Yes.
To manage your business, dapat nakalagay yan lahat sa books.
Correct.
Okay, so now, how can these information benefit the business? Like I said, it's important, diba, to monitor everything.
Yeah. So monitoring the business is number one reason. Okay, the business owner can control their business, meaning how much revenue I make. Did I hit the target, or should I put more effort on that? So those are examples of benefits of having the the bookkeeping in the business.
Can you share with us some case studies?
Well, yeah. One study is like one of my client, okay, wherein he doesn't know how much the selling price, how much the cost of his product, how much is the cost to produce, the cost to operate of this business. So from there, through the interpretation of data, through the collection of data, we were able to come up of a guided financial decision, and then from 600,000, his sales become 6 million. Just for simple, for that guidance that we made to them.
Yes. Okay, now we have covered the process of bookkeeping and analyzing the data. When we return, Tristan will share more tips to help our entrepreneurs. Stay with us. Welcome back to Pathways to Success. We are still with business consultant and accountant Tristan Cristobal. If you just tuned in, we are discussing the importance of bookkeeping in a business. So Tristan, for those who still see bookkeeping as a boring or dull part of the business, can you share with us some tips on how to change that mindset para they can get to bookkeeping na
Actually,
with
that's
enthusiasm?
True. Yeah, that's true. That's the boring part of the business. But you have to embrace that because that's where you can assess your business. You have nothing, you cannot do anything but to embrace the accounting process or the bookkeeping. So every time you do that, always, no, isipin nyo na lang, nandito yung profit ko, dito lalago yung business ko, dito ko makikita kung kailangan ko pang gumawa ng more effort. So that's I think that's the tips that I can give to our business owners.
Some kasi tinatamad, ano?
Tinatamad kasi because of the technicality.
They procrastinate.
Exactly.
Ang sabi mo nga, get to it. You have to get to it.
Yes.
Okay, so the first tip, ano yung first tip mo para they would change that mindset?
Well, separate their personal finance to their business finance. It's very important that don't mix up your funds because they have separate transactions. Your personal is different from your business transactions. Okay? They have to also embrace the taxes.
Okay.
Because if you forget the implication of tax, sigurado malaki ang babayaran instead of you saving taxes. Malaki ang iyong babayaran na taxes without the proper bookkeeping.
So getting it right, separate your personal funds from your business funds and then organize all your records and also yung taxes mo. You have to keep track of the taxes.
Yeah. If I may add, the cash, the revenue and expenses management is very important as well as part of the bookkeeping because that's the core of your business, the cash, revenue and expenses.
So after getting everything organized, ano pa yung next step or what are the other tips that you can give?
Well, in terms of tips, is I think the business owner should really not to they should learn more about accounting. What's the implication of accounting? They have to embrace the accounting. They should learn the numbers of their business because it's very important so that they can grow their business.
Okay, aside from learning the numbers, there's also jargon, business jargon that they have to know. Okay, so there are terms that, bookkeeping terms that are very important for entrepreneurs to know and understand. What are these terms?
There's so much terms, accounting terms like cash, revenue, expenses, liabilities, but there are only three accounting terms that I would like them to put in heart, which is revenue, profit, and cash. Because this is very important in the business. Revenue. Are you making sales? Profit. Is it enough?
Cash.
Are you happy of that? Cash. Masaya ba ako sa cash na tanggap ko at the end of the day? So that's the three accounting terms that I would like them to put in heart.
Okay, Tristan, now there are many tools or software na, pwede nang matulungan yung isang small entrepreneur or when you're just starting.
Yeah.
What are these tools that they can use?
Yeah, we can use the technologies like the QuickBooks, Xero, MYOB. Okay, so these are software technology that will help them to manage their business in terms of accounting. And at the same time, in terms of tool, they make sure that they have the calculator, the filing folder, the file room. It's very important for them to maintain that.
But if you are hesitant to use web-based software because of some fears, no, like fear of getting hacked, what are your tips for them?
Well, that's actually the biggest challenge of small businesses because first it will cost them. Second is they are afraid of change, right? Because they're used to writing it in manuals, but they tend to forget that it will make their business efficient or their process efficient. Meaning, if they were able to make the system, okay, it will make the recording faster and then they can focus more on their business instead of administrative work in accounting.
Now, to perfect the bookkeeping process, what are the mistakes that entrepreneurs should avoid?
Okay, don't be afraid of numbers. You should know, and you are required to know your numbers. You are required to know what's happening in your business. So you should avoid that. Next is don't avoid taxes.
Okay.
Don't avoid taxes. You have the obligation to pay your taxes correctly, accurately.
Two things that are inevitable, death and taxes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And then, of course, seek advice from the expert. So it's very important to get advice from expert for more information and guidance in terms of how to manage their business, how to create more sales, how to do the bookkeeping properly, and how to interpret the in financial records
Also,
of their
those
business.
documents that they should save, ano yung mga documents like receipts dapat tinatago nila?
Yeah, that should be kept, right? The cash receipts coming from that they issue, the official receipts that they receive from their suppliers, and then any business documents, it should be kept. They should keep it in safe. Dapat nga may file room sila eh. So that
file room for all your records. Okay, great idea.
Yeah, because it will, from time to time, you will need that for business review. What happened? Business owners, may nakalimutan, kukunin niya. Kailangan niyang review yung mga business documents.
And there should always be a place for them that you know where to get them.
Yeah, yes, correct.
Thank you, Tristan, for coming over and sharing your expertise in bookkeeping.
Thank you so much, Miss Mai.
And to all our hardworking entrepreneurs striving for success, we hope you apply all the valuable bookkeeping tips in today's episode. Always remember that the more you learn, the more you earn. That is our episode for today. Join us again tomorrow here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel.